Joining us now is Mark Vonner. Mark is the CEO of the Veterans Development Corporation. He's also the presenting sponsor of the DAV 5K Boston. That's coming up November 8th on Castle Island. I'm going to give everybody a little bit more detail on the big event coming up in November. But Mark's joining us now to talk a little bit about their partnership with the DAV, their commitment to that group, and their company generally in the industry. So, Mark, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. For those unaware, tell us a little bit about Veterans Development Corporation, the company that you lead, and the work that they do. What space do they occupy in that construction space?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me today.
I
appreciate it. We do this all the time, and I'm very appreciative of you having us. Veterans Development is a general contractor that serves pretty much the federal government. We do a lot of VA healthcare work.
Okay.
Pretty much from Maine all the way down to Connecticut.
Okay.
And we renovate and restore all of the VA hospitals.
Now, VDC has been very involved with military members and their families, and employing a number of those people, as well as your commitment to the DAV. How did that come about? I know you have some military background as well, but talk to us about the company and their involvement with the military.
Sure. Well, we got in touch with Dan Stack. He became a family friend over 20 plus years ago.
Dan Stack is the former adjutant of the DAV, and now I think he's the full-on president of the DAV, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, with Mike Vila.
Yeah.
And Dan and I met through my brother Timothy, who was an Army Ranger. Mm-hmm. I was served in the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. And when we got out, my brother went to work for Dan at the DAV.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another, and they did their first annual DAV golf outing up in Wayland at the country club there at Sandy Burr. And from that, we just spun off. And over the years, Dan and I became very close. I got interested in the DAV through all the work that they were doing. And then the law came out for the veteran program, for which we are in now, which all service-disabled, veteran-owned small businesses have a set-aside within the federal government.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it started.
I feel like everyone I talk to that's been involved with the DAV always comes back to one main story that they've heard about the work that they do, or some involvement they themselves had with the DAV. Does anything stick with you in terms of, you've been involved now for a few years between the race and fundraising opportunities. Does anything stick with you about the work that they do?
Oh, my goodness. There's so many. The housing program that they're doing, and the actual individual service that they do for all of the veterans. Dan has just been an advocate. Mike now is running the show with his wife, and it's just been an unbelievable experience to watch them develop a person that may have an injury or some sort of, internal injury mentally, and they just work with the veterans from start to finish, and I just like being a part of it.
Would you mind, Mark, giving us a little bit more background on your military? You said 20 years in the Marine Corps. You have a brother in the Army Ranger. Sounds like a family of military veterans, if I'm not mistaken. Would you mind giving us a little bit more background on your experience?
Yeah, sure. My dad was in the Marine Corps in Korea. My brother Timothy and myself, my brother joined the Army. Want to be a little bit different than the norm.
Yeah.
We have a big Marine Corps family. And I joined in 1981 after graduating high school.
Yeah.
And from that point, it just really helped me launch my career when I got out. The Marine Corps teaches you a lot of stuff about discipline.
No doubt.
And I just took it from there, and it's been a wonderful experience to be part of the veteran community from that date all the way till now.
Shifting back to your business for a moment here, your area of construction is pretty niche, obviously. We talk a lot about AI and housing and data center demand. We talk a lot about housing construction. The space that you occupy is a little bit different. It's federal contracts. It's all that sort of stuff. Where has that been going over the course of the last few years? And is it an area that we're still seeing a lot of building going on and demand for this type of construction right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The entire country is renovating every VA hospital constantly. And they come out with these contracts that last about 5 years called MATOCs, multiple award task order contract. People vie to get into that contract, and they set aside a pile of money that the veteran community, which is nice for the VA, all of it goes service-disabled, veteran-owned small business as a set-aside program, which mostly everybody knows the VA hospitals in New England are in tough shape. They're old, so they constantly need renovating. So there's a lot of work. Great opportunity if you have a son, daughter, an aunt and uncle that wants to get into the trades, it's very, very lucrative. The pay scale is high because it's federal, and they go for a 5-year apprentice program. They graduate, and they get a raise every 6 months as long as they're doing their schooling. I mean, if I had a son, which I have 2 daughters, I'd have them in the trades now.
Got 3 myself.
We'll make sure they call
Get in
me.
the trades too. Mark Vonner is the CEO of Veterans Development Corporation. He's been joining us today to talk about their sponsorship of the Disabled American Veterans 5K Boston. It's coming up November 8th. It's at Castle Island. We've been doing it here on the Financial Exchange for the last few years. It is an amazingly good time. They have the howitzers shooting off to start the race. It is a really, really fun and touching event to be at, and we really appreciate, obviously, your sponsorship of that event. I know you play a huge role in that, Mark. If you want to learn more, you can go to dav5kboston.com and check out a whole bunch more details. Usually this thing sells out pretty quickly, but always opportunities to come spectate and check it out. It's down on Castle Island in Boston. It's always a great time, and we would love for you to take a look, check it out, and book your time. Tucker?
DAV5K.Boston.
DAV5K.Boston.
Correct.
Of course, I got that slightly off. But DAV5K.Boston to get more information. And again, we've been joined today by Mark Vonner. He's the CEO of Veterans Development Corporation and presenting sponsor of the DAV5K.